So it looks like it's going to be a nice simple issue 43. So what we'll do first of all is we will just check off the parts, and we have 6 listed parts this week. We have got, sometimes these bags are harder to open than you think. So we have got part number 1, hull plating BP29. And we know that's 29 because it says so there. They're all embossed. Secondly, we have got landing leg cover plate, and that's actually going to end up going there, which we'll find out a little bit later on. Plant on details, sprue on a sprue, sorry, 11 pieces on a sprue. Now this is, it does say in the magazine that this is going to be, I've lost where it says in the magazine, but it does say that this is going to be used. The other parts provided for the ventral gunner's controls, keep these until later. Then we've got some magnets which are in there. I will get them out as I need them, and there's 2 steel pins in there as well, so they're popped away safely. And lastly, we've got 34 silver fixing screws, which I will pop into the little container if I can open them properly. And this is getting very full now, but I do know we'll be using these soon. I think within about 3 or 4 issues. So we've just got a couple of simple issues, just making up a few details, and then yeah, we'll get an awful lot done. Oh, I've dropped a screw. Right, so that's the parts for this week. Okay, so we're going to be fitting the forward cover plates, and the parts that we need are the parts that we got in this issue here. We need the BP28 section, and that came with issue 36, like that. I'm just going to move the camera down a bit. And we're going to need the BP27, which came with issue 35. We're also going to need the 4 magnets and 4 pins that we got, I believe it was the last issue, issue 41, and then the 2 pins and magnets that we got with this issue. So what I'll do first of all is I will prepare the pins and the magnets, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate them, pins and magnets, and we'll pop the pins into one section of my little tray, and then we'll pop the magnets into another. Like so. Now when I first saw this, the way I do magnetizing, I do magnet to magnet. It's very, very simple. However, there's a lot of ways to make mistakes because of the polarity of magnets. I've just lost those magnets, so I'll demonstrate with some bigger magnets. When you want to connect 2 things by magnets, you want them to, obviously this is going to be difficult because it's, let's just use the 2. These are really, really powerful magnets. I think these are about 5 kilogram pull, which is strong, is the only way to put it. Now, when you want to connect something, obviously what you're going to do is you're going to glue this magnet to something, and then you're going to glue this magnet to something, and then they will clip together. However, if you should glue the magnets in the wrong way, so let's say you glue the magnets, whoops, right, so let's say you glue this that way, and then this that way, sorry, that way, you then end up, because of the polarities, the magnets won't stick. You actually need to make sure you get them the right way, and then they click. The way they've got round that problem is by using steel pins, which I think is simple geniusness. So what we're going to do, we're going to just dry fit these pieces, and then we're going to, that might be the wrong way round, and we're going to pop these to one side, and we'll just deal with one small section at a time. So what we are going to do, this section here, the main bit, we're going to be gluing a steel pin, and we're going to be popping the steel pin into there, and that's going to be a really stiff fit. Then what we'll be doing is we'll be placing some magnets onto this piece, like so. Magnets are very easy to handle when you've got lots of them. When you get to the last one, they're a little bit more difficult, and then that means that we don't need to worry about the polarity, because as you see, that will stick on there, no problems. And if we should turn the magnets around, we can see it still sticks. So it actually makes no difference which way round we do these. So according to the instructions, what we want to do is we want to fit the thin end of the steel pin into one of the end sockets at the end of the recess. And it is some fiddly. If you've got large hands, you may struggle a bit. And that's just going to go into that's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Yeah, okay. What might be useful actually is if we just enlarge the head of that. Don't enlarge the entire hole. If we just enlarge the start of it, that will just give us like a feeder hole, and then we can feed that into there. Oh. Sometimes you just don't have enough hands. There we go, that's in there fine. Okay, so that's going to come out of there. So it does actually say if the pin is loose, put a drop of super glue into the hole. So what I would probably do, yeah, you see that's loose. So in fact, actually it might have been easier to do it this way in the first place. In fact, that's the way I'm going to do it. So we use these magnets. So what I'm actually going to do then, guys, it's asking us to do this, then do the magnets on here, then it's asking us to do the next one, the pins, then the magnets, then the third one on the pins and the magnets. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pins in, then I'm going to skip a step, do the pins on the next one, then skip a step and do the pins on the third one. Then I'm going to go all the way back and I'm going to put the magnets on. I think that's going to be a far easier way. That way I can use the magnets to grip the pin, and then what we'll do is we'll put a tiny dab of glue on the bottom of the pin. We'll pop that in, and then what will happen, should happen, once the glue is dry, the glue will be stronger than the magnet, so when I pull away the magnet, the pin should be left. So let's just put that theory to the test. So tiny dab of glue, like so. We push the pin in as far as it will go. Because the pin's got a little cap on it, it should stop the glue from coming up. And there we go, look, I've pulled the magnet away, and there you go. So I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So pick up our next pin, do a dry fit. Yep, that goes in fine. That is actually very loose. So tiny dab of glue, push in the pin, count to 5, 3, 4, 5, pull away the magnets. Perfect. So, oops, I've just dropped one of the pieces. My apologies guys, I've managed to drop a piece. So I'm going to keep these flaps in the correct order that they're going to come out. So pick up a pin, dab of glue, forgot to dry fit didn't I? Let's hope this works fine. There we go, pin is in, 3, 4, 5, lovely. So now say when we do this, because it's going to be done by pins, I don't think it will make a difference on the magnets, but we will try and keep the magnets all the same way round. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That didn't stick. 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And then the third piece. Now all I know about these pieces, it's got something to do with the legs. So I think the legs retract. I might be wrong there. So that goes in fine. That actually goes into both of them fine. I'm just going to actually switch pins because now I know that that pin will fit onto both of those holes. If this one will fit into one but not the other one, we know that the other one will fit. So that's fine and that's fine. So small dab of glue. If you're using this super glue gel, don't forget to shake it regularly because it does seem to separate. Sorry, I moved my camera, I do apologise. So yep, that's come off fine. So last one. Yeah, I remember the first time I used this super glue, I just squeezed, I went, oh, it's gone off. It doesn't work. It just turns out I hadn't shaken it. There you go, that actually went in quite stiff. Right, that's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get some magnets just to hold the magnets in, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these to one side and just get the flaps out. So what we're going to do now is put the magnets in. Right, so first thing we obviously do is we do a dry fit. We want to make sure that hole is big enough. And what we're going to do is exactly the same way as the pins. We're going to put a dab of super glue on. Alternatively, you might want to consider putting super glue onto a piece of waste material and then dip the magnet into the super glue. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You may actually find it easier to bend these off like that. See, I've stuck it on, counted to 5 or 10, and I've took them off that way. But that magnet is on. There's a little bit of glue residue on there, so I would leave that a little bit longer to dry than normal. And then we'll do the next one. I'm just going to give my super glue a bit of a shake. So let's do it properly, shall we? Dab of super glue onto a piece of waste, and that way we can really control how much we put on. We only want to put a tiny bit of glue on. We don't want that glue seeping out everywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not enough. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Perfect. So on to the third one. Dry fit, dry fit. Tiny dab of glue. We seem to have better luck counting to 10, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there we are. So dry fit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alternatively, look, you can slide it off. Okay, and I'm just going to bring these to the end because obviously this magnet is so much bigger than the small ones. So dry fit, tiny dab of glue. If you think that's too much, touch it with something else. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. A little bit of a struggle with that one. And then we've just got one last magnet to do. Don't forget the dry fit. So tiny dab, have a look. If there's too much, just give it a dab on something just to get rid of some of the excess. And 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and we can just slide that off. So what we've now done there is not only have we put the magnets in so that they will stick, but we've actually made sure the polarities are all correct. And you'll know the polarities are correct because if you see, they won't stick. They do stick to each other. Why do they stick to each other? They don't stick. What they actually do is they won't stick on black. You see there? I put them on together and they jump off. So you know you've done them correct. So shall we test them? Now I can't remember which panels were which now. However, one thing I have noticed when I did a dry fit much earlier on, if you put these panels on incorrectly, they won't go on. The shape of them, you see, I don't know if you can see that, but you've got a nice rounded hole there, rounded corner. There you've got a much sharper corner. So these sharp corners will always go down near the bottom, and that's not working. That's not a good fit. So we'll try that on this one. Oh, no. There we go, that's a good fit. So this must go on this one because that's the same shape panel. No, that doesn't want to fit either. So maybe it goes onto this one. There we go, that goes onto that one. And don't be deceived by the detail. Okay, I might have to do a little bit of looking up in the mag. In fact, let's do some looking up in the magazine. So this one should go on to this one. I did test all of these. Right, okay. I feel a bit daft when I get the wrong panel on. Right, so that one is going on there. Yep, that's perfect. And this one goes on to that one. Wrong way. There we go. Isn't it amazing how they just fit when you do them correctly? So that's what we've made there. There's no more requirements on this magazine. That's all we needed to do this week. Okay guys, so I will see you next week when we will be doing more the lower plate, hull plating, gun control parts and details. Thank you for watching.